Welcome all you +2 comedy modifiers back to the stream. Welcome back to Clue Escape the Illusionist Club. TV's Noah here. Smoothie has been finished, and I really need to finish Clue Escape the Illusionist Club. So we know what we need to do. We need to figure out who sabotaged Sable's trick, where Sable is now, and what item was intentionally used to sabotage the trick. I'm currently betting on the popcorn machine, but we will see. Last time on the show, we finished... I'm getting a little bit of blur. I usually don't get that. We finished the office, and we found a new spot, spot 590. So we're going to start there, and according to my deck, it is Miss Scarlet's turn. So I'll move Miss Scarlet to node 590, and we will see what we have going on here. Oh boy! This is a big one. As you descend the ladder to get beneath the stage, you are overwhelmed by a fire ripping along the walls and through the props, even though the ceiling appears untouched. This must be where all the smoke is coming from. More importantly, the smoke was clearly traveling through the tunnel system suspended from the ceiling. Inside you can see tracks of a pulley cart would have been, because there was a pulley, I think, having to do with the popcorn machine. That must be how Sable is able to travel so quickly between the trap doors during her tricks. You spot an emergency exit at the back of the room, but how do you reach it? It's now or never. You must rescue Sable and escape the club. Remove board B2. Remove board B2 from play area and replace it with board F. Alright, I don't know what B2 is. So I think B2 is this. That's B1. So this is where all my clues are, though. The disconnected cable that Mr. Green tripped over, the cut rope. Yeah, this is B2 as I destroy my thing. Alright, I'm going into my box. Oh, there is an F board. I didn't realize it. Board F. Ooh, the basement. Ooh. Yeah, so there's a whole other area here that I didn't know was going to exist. This is going to take longer than I hoped, but that's fine. That's fine. We will solve this today. Alright, so we now have nodes 600, 630, 640, and 610. Everything is on fire. Let's get a new character going. Whoopsie. Let's have Colonel Mustard rush down there to save the day. He heads to 600. I grab card 600. Let's go. The smoke, the heat, and the roar of the flames all work together to make the room unbearable to be in. It's hard to get your bearings in here, but a bright splash of color amidst the gray haze catches your eye. You find an abandoned can of purple theatrical smoke lying on the ground. Take card 635. 635. Boom. Clue. Theatrical smoke in the basement. Purple. Now, we did learn that all the smoke is flammable except for blue, but they ran out of blue, and they sent purple in replacement. So I think that's what happened there. That is not an intentional sabotage, unless we find out somebody, got rid of all the blue. All right, that ends Colonel Mustard's turn. Great job there, Colonel. Let's have Mayor Green come up next. Mayor Green goes to node 610. 610. Various piles of tricks and props are burning merrily in the blaze, but your eye is drawn to a tall sword leaning against the wall. Colonel Mustard grabs the sword, clears his throat, and then speaks. Take cards 602 and 634. So Colonel Mustard's going to talk. Statement by Colonel Mustard. I spotted an old pal at the speakeasy and struck up a conversation. There's been rumors recently about a nearby military base. Could be nothing, but the problem is they claimed some files went missing. Anyway, the only person I saw before heading to my seat was Scarlett. She was gossiping in the speakeasy. No surprise there. My ticket? Must have dropped it along the way. So Mustard lost his ticket. I believe White also lost a ticket. So I'm going to keep all these things together. I think what we're going to have to eventually do is reread all of them to kind of see if any of the statements don't make sense. Also, a sword! Sword! We need another puzzle piece to solve. The sword! There's nothing really interesting about the sword other than, you know, sword. All right, thank you, Mr. Green. We'll have Professor Plum go next, please. Professor Plum hides from the fire and goes to node 630. Node 630. No, there's no nodes, just gears. There's just gears. Alright, that was weird. That was very much unlike this game. Thank you, Professor Plum. Solicitor Peacock. Solicitor Peacock joins everyone in the basement and stands in the center of the room. Hanging from the ceiling, there's a huge water tank designed for an escape artist. It's still full. Maybe you can use it to put out the fire. You look to see if there are hinges to open it, or a way to tip it over. No such luck. The chains are hanging from are too thick to saw through. It appears the only option is to find a weak point in the glass and break the tank open. Perhaps with a sword? Take card 804, which is right here on top. 804. Two puzzle pieces to solve. So like you can see the ghost of the sword kind of on it. And there's all these numbers around it. So if we take our sword, which is a puzzle piece and not a clue, and I kind of like layer it over this on the exact same, like see the ghost of the hood of this. I'll try to lay it perfectly over it like this. It's pointing at the 9. Is there another way that I'm supposed to put this over there to get another number? I don't see anything else interesting about it. I mean, this is clearly pointing at the 9 if I lay it over the way it's asking me to. You see that that's a 9? 9, says the sword. I mean, I could take 999, I guess. Just seems like a dumb way to do this. It's kind of also over the 5, but it's not pointing at the 5. Maybe, should I take a look at 999? I can't think of anything else to do with... It doesn't seem right, though. There is a 999 in the deck, but I feel like there's got to be more to this that I'm not seeing. These just say 2 puzzle pieces needed to solve. Ting! Maybe I do it on all of the corners, like, boom. Since I did that once in this corner, let's do it again in, like, this corner. Or this corner. Nothing here. This is off the card. I feel like there's got to be more to this that... Because it's giving me the number 9, but I feel like there's got to be more to it than just pointing at the number 9, right? I mean, 999 is a card, but I don't know, that feels lame. Where's the hint book? I'm going to take a hint on this one. Just because, like, there's clearly another step that I'm not doing. There's my book. Alright, I'm taking a look at the official hint booklet for... What puzzle is this? Puzzle W. Use the sword as a tool to break the glass. Thank you. Layer the sword over top the card showing the water tank. Then swing it by rotating the hilt. Oh, that's silly. Alright, so what I'm supposed to do is I take this card. And this is the hilt. And I put the hilt over like this. Wham. So it's pointing at 9, and then I swing. Like, shink. And then I get 9, 2, 4. That is a very silly puzzle. I don't know if I like that. There's nothing... I don't like that puzzle. But 924 it is. There's card 924. Solved. Mustard heaves the sword up at the tank. Oh, he just threw it. So even in the story, it doesn't work the way that the cards say. Heaves the sword up at the tank while everyone else takes cover. The sword smashes against the tank, spiderwebbing the glass on impact, but it doesn't shatter. The sword clangers to the ground. The heat is unbearable, but you've only got one more shot before you're all goners. Hit the tank's weak point, and you'll be free. Discard W1 and 2. Next player, take 850 and 851. All right. I don't... See, like, even the way that it was solved of swinging the sword isn't what happens in the story. 850. What is a maze? Alright. I do not understand this. Because I'm linking it together. I'm trying to link it together. It kind of links well, but not really. Oh, I think I have to layer it over once. Yeah, I have to layer it like that. Which I'm going to say is less than ideal way to do this, is to actually have them overlap instead of just having them meet at a point. Because I see, yeah, that's the same, yeah. So it's like that. There we go. Boom. And now I have to trace my way through this maze while trying to hold this together well. So I follow my way through here, I go up through here, come in through here, I go here. There's a thing that kind of looks like a 4 here, but I don't know, it goes up and around. I go up here, and then I come down there. I've solved the maze. I sure as hell didn't get any numbers. Like, I guess I could say this is a 7, and then... coming down here, this is kind of a 4. Going, it's kind of a 7. Down here, that's kind of a 5. And then kind of a 7 again. I think I kind of make the design of a 757. Or... I guess there's no 7 in the deck right now. So the first number is 9. And there's kind of a 9. If you look right here, there's kind of a 9. So I think 957 is my guess. I vote this is bad. I think this is a bad puzzle. There is a 957, though. Alright, I mean, like, how bad could it be if I was able to solve it? But I think a big problem with this is I know it's all 3-digit codes. And, like, I know it's going to start with a 9 at this point. So, like, that could function as gameplay, as like a hint, like, well, how do you get the 9? All right, you did. Now how do you get the rest of the numbers? But, I don't know. In any case, the tank breaks open, spraying water in all directions. The fire that has been blocking the emergency exit sputters out. You cough and choke on the smoke, but you are forward determined. On your way, you notice a burned piece of map on a nearby floor. Discard these stupid puzzle pieces. That way they go. Take card 944 and place 943. No, I'm sorry. Place 944 and take 943. Whatever. It's all the same. 944 and 943. You know, I've played something similar to this called Unlock, and they had dummy cards where, like, oh, maybe this is the answer, and if you look and you're wrong, there's like a punishment. That's a mechanic that could totally work in this, but it doesn't really work. If you pick the wrong card that's there, it's just like it's the answer to something else, and then you're like, oh. But the fact that there's not like a dummy, like, you're incorrect, oh no, is a mistake. In any case, here's the burned piece of map. Look how burned it is. That clearly goes with this. So I think what's going on here is this is a map of the pulley system used for the magic trick. And there's symbols on it. And this is going to help me locate Sable. I think that's what's happening. And then I place this card. No. Where is that? I think it's just against... Yeah. So this goes here now. Yeah, Ace Basement. There we go. Boom. Alright, so we'll send Miss White... Or Chef White? Yeah, Chef White. To 999. Only got a few cards left. We got to be nearing the end of this puzzle. 999 says... You reach the door, thrilled to finally get out of the club and hopefully find Sable. But when you all get there, you all see an empty door frame stuck to a blank wall. You don't have time for any more magic tricks. You look over the entire door frame and find nothing but solid wall beneath it. The metal frame is hot to the touch. On a whim, you take the mirror you took out of the theater out of your pocket and notice that in the heat, the frame looks different than it did before. I thought maybe if I made this hot, something would happen. Take cards 921 and 922. Keep this card on the table. All right, so this is important. And it's telling me I need my mirror. So here's my mirror, there's my camera and microphone. All right, so I got cards. So I'm down to 2 cards. I'm down to 911 and I'm down to 978. And I have these 2 cards. The first card looks like nothing of note. And the second card also looks like nothing of note. So here's what we got going on. I'm going to do my best to try to explain this. If you look... Oh, I don't know if you guys can see. It's very faint. But along the top edge of this, there are numbers. It's like 7259. Might be too glossy for you guys to perceive here. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. So there's numbers across this. Also, there's very clearly symbols in... Maybe it's not... I mean, like, you can kind of see the diamond And then in the middle, there's a sun. Right where it's broken. And then there's something that kind of looks like a star. And then we have this. And it seems like we need to use the mirror in some way. Because it says you need both puzzle pieces, so both things, and the mirror to solve. So I don't know what we're doing in terms of using the mirror to see things in the cards. All right. Let's see. So I do see a 9 right here, which makes me think that I'm going to use that as my first number. I'm just kind of seeing if I see anything. When I use my mirror, it doesn't really make any shapes that look familiar to me. And according to this is all I need. I know that there's symbols similar to this on these cards, but this is claiming I don't need them. But there is something about making this hot. Let me just, like, rub my mirror. It remains unchanged. That would have been neat if this was like some sort of heat induced change, but I don't think that's the case. I kind of think what this is trying to say is these are the same thing because they have this kind of the same border. My current guess is there's those symbols that are kind of hard to see. They kind of blend in, but like that's one of it right there. There's clearly like a 4-point star right there. I think that is supposed to represent one of the numbers because there's 3 symbols in here. But then why are there numbers at the top? Unfortunately, this is not going to really come across well for you guys. I could try to bring the camera down. Whoosh! And block my beautiful face with my microphone. But I'm trying to think maybe like using the 9. I might just use a hint. Just because, like, also this mirror sucks. Let me just get a hint. Let me just get a hint so we can move on. So this is puzzle Y. The door frame looks pretty similar to the frame of the mirror. Maybe there's something hiding on the mirror. So again, it's claiming like should I try to heat this up? It might just be too hot in here for me to do this. It does kind of feel like one of those color change strips. Warm my hands up a lot. Because what it could be is if these symbols that are on here that I can kind of spot are like on the mirror around the border of this, I could then match them up with the numbers that I see along here. I'm touching one of my lights. Let me just... There we go. So... Okay, I'm just going to show you the ridiculous thing that I'm doing. Come here, camera. So I don't have a very good budget. So my light to my left is a chain chomp. And I've taken the mirror and I've stuck it inside the chain chomp's mouth. in an attempt to heat up the card using the power of Chain Chomp Light. So what do you guys want to talk about? Hair. That would be great for the stream. Just super loud. Alright. I'm gonna go put it in my toaster. Alright. Like, there is something to this. Like, there is something about this border that feels different. But I don't have anything, like, what's hot? Do I have anything hot? Like, my computer's a little hot. We turn the fan off on my computer so it overheats. And then I'll put it against that for a moment just to see. Nah! Thought I turned my computer off for a second. Alright, here we go. We're still going. I mean, I guess a hairdryer would work. There's also a chance that this is just wrong. You know? But it's the winter, man. Go get some... Go throw it on my stove, I guess. Or... Okay. I'm just gonna get another clue. Because I can't really get this to work just because my hands are so freaking cold. I'm rubbing it against my pant leg. This is good for the stream, right? This is a good visual and audio right now. For the stream. Let's get this clue. Don't see anything still. It's so hot in here. Try applying some heat to the mirror by rubbing the edges with your fingers. Or, you know. Yeah, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel it getting warm. Switch hands. Whew. Legitimately getting hot. Oh, come on. I mean, it says just rubbing it with my fingers should be enough. I think this is broken. I do. Like, I understand making it difficult enough that you wouldn't see it by accident. I think I have a hairdryer. A little lighter. This is just not working. Like, I can feel it with my fingers that there's supposed to be something happening, but this is just not working. And now I'm annoyed. Now I'm very annoyed. Push it up against one of my other lights real quick. This is my ring light over here that you guys can't see. Yeah, this just doesn't work. This is broken. Okay. Where's the stupid book? All right. Where's the solutions? Solutions. All right. It's 978, everybody. It just doesn't work. After you position the mirror that's been carrying with you, some unknown force seems to swirl through the room. Before your eyes, their very eyes, a doorknob and hinges materialize in the space within the door frame. You twist an oddly cool knob, open the door, and you see a tunnel stretching out. Take card 911. This is the end. This is the end of this game. You've prepared to leave through the emergency exit, which takes you out of a tunnel behind the venue. For somewhere in the building, you can hear muffled yells. You need to find and free Sable. Then figure out who trapped her before she accuses you, and severs all ties with all of you, both personally and professionally. Review the clue cards you have collected throughout the game and revisit any nodes you may have missed while you work through your deliberation. Now decide who sabotaged Sable's trick, where is Sable now, and what item it was intentionally used to sabotage her trick. Okay. So, here are all my clues. All right. We have this purple stuff. Now, we have another clue that talks about how the smoke should... Yeah, this one said... This note says that we should always use blue smoke because all other smoke is flammable. However, we also have a note that says that they were out of blue smoke. And that it was... They sent purple smoke on their own just to kind of like, hey, sorry, we don't have this. So I don't think this was intentional. I think this is a mistake that was made. So I think that's what these clues are saying, that we should discard the purple smoke as a clue. These are not clue cards. We have this severed rope. Very classic clue. We have rope, right? One of the magician's notes says that make sure one of the ropes is cut so I don't zip up too high. Don't know what that means exactly. But it seems to me that then it is not the rope. The rope was supposed to be cut. Blam, blam. There is this unplugged cord. Now, the cord was unplugged according to a statement by Mr. Green. Mr. Green says, I was backstage checking the fire marshal for safety, and we were both dismayed to see how poorly stored and protected the cords were. I tripped over a disconnected cord that was just lying around. Well, that would actually imply it was already disconnected, so maybe... That's pretty obviously a violation. You'd think Sable would have personally seen to it since she's having trouble getting her zoning permits in order. Well, for a new music venue she's opening, she's supposed to have some star chef lined up to drive traffic. So, Green discovers this unplugged, not that it was unplugged. We also have this weird map, right? And there's a series of trapdoors. This trapdoor, that is the moon, is on stage. This one is in the audience, and that's what has the popcorn on it. I think that's what happened. I think the popcorn container got pushed over so she can't come out this door. I think there was then something about there being a safety measure that would make her pop out of a different trapdoor, but maybe that's where the cord comes in. Let me read Sable's notes again. Sable's notes read... Where's the other piece of this note? There it is. Check the mirror's gears for rust. Okay, so that's something about the gears. The gears do not appear rusted as a clue. So these gears seem fine. So I don't think it's the gears. Smoke container must be blue. All other colors are too flammable. Trapdoor locks must be set in this order. 1 is disengaged, 2 is disengaged, 3 is engaged, 4 is disengaged. Notes. Magician drops through door 1, which I think is here. Landing in a pulley cart under the theater. The cart stops first. Unlocked door. Should be door 2. A hook located at the door will fly her over the audience to complete the trick. So she goes through and then flies up. That's the idea. Failsafe in case door 2 is blocked, which it is. Pulley cart will travel the magician to the dressing room. So she should be in the trap door under the dressing room. That's where Sable should be. Because somebody pushed the popcorn tin onto that trapdoor. That is my current thought. Let's read through the statements and see if we can figure out who did it. Chef White says, not to sound like a broken record or anything, I was trying to find Adelaide. We had some business to discuss about the place that she was opening. I heard she hired someone else for a gig I thought we had agreed on. I didn't find her, though. I had some trouble getting into the theater because I lost my ticket. We did find a lost ticket as well as a clue. But Colonel Mustard's also saying that he lost a ticket. Luckily, the staff was able to track down my name in the system and let me in. Okay. That makes sense. Miss Scarlett says, I was in the speakeasy, enjoying a lovely drink and listening to a few conversations. No ticket needed, of course. Even without all this nasty business, there would have been quite a few tantalizing rumors worth hearing about. I even saw Colonel Mustard having a very secretive conversation. Other than that, I heard 2 women arguing in one of the adjacent rooms. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but I'm sure one of them was Adelaide. So, according to Scarlett, Adelaide Sable talked to a woman. But according to Chef White, she wasn't able to find Adelaide. What's Peacock's statement? Because Peacock better have had a conversation with Sable for this to make sense. I arrived early, this is Solicitor Peacock, and went straight to Sable's office. Some staff member let me in to wait for her. Why? A case, obviously. No, I'm not going to tell you what it was. Anyway, she never showed up, so it hardly matters. I eventually gave up and left, but before I did, someone else knocked on the door for the theater looking for her. I told them she wasn't in, and there was no response. That plays off of what what Professor Plum said. Well, I've been hoping to talk to Adelaide before the show. She was planning to knock down a building with tremendous historical value. It's awful. So I went to her office. There's a door to it inside the theater. When I knocked, though, I heard some other woman call out that she wasn't in. I didn't know where else to look, so I grabbed some popcorn out of the machine right there and sat in my seat. I was the first one in the theater. So what this tells me is, according to Scarlett, somebody did talk to Sable. Both Chef White and Solicitor Peacock are saying that they did not speak to her. Plum's also saying that the popcorn machine was not knocked down when the show started. So that's why I think the popcorn machine was used. The question becomes, who did it? What did Mustard say? I spotted an old pal in the speakeasy and struck up a conversation. There had been rumors recently about a military base. Could be nothing, but the problem is they claimed to files went missing. Anyway, the only person I saw before heading to my seat was Scarlett. She was gossiping in the speakeasy. No surprise there. My ticket, I must have dropped it somewhere along the way. So I think it comes down to Solicitor Peacock and Chef White. Not to sound like a broken record or anything, I was trying to find Adelaide. We had some business to discuss. A new place she'd opened. I heard that she hired someone else for the gig that we had agreed upon. I didn't find her, though. I had some trouble getting into the theater because I lost my ticket. The ticket was found in the dressing room. And there's nothing in Chef White's story about being in the dressing room. Nobody else talks about the dressing room. And on top of that, that's where I think Sable is. Right? Or does she go to the office first? No, maybe she goes to the office. I think she's in the office because there's a trap door in the office as well. I think that's the next one. So I think because I found the ticket in the dressing room and she doesn't mention anything about the dressing room, that's pretty suspicious. I'm going to say it was Chef White using the popcorn machine. And Adelaide is now in the office. That is my guess. If I open back up my box, I will find the solve. Is there anything else in this box? There's nothing else in the box. This is the solve. So I've officially made my guess. I feel really good about it being the popcorn machine. I feel okay about it being the office because it should be in the next one, which is the office, the pulley system. Because that was blocked. Not really sure about the who. Let's open it. It was Chef White. This is a little confusing. The correct answer is Chef White, the dressing room, not the office like I originally said, and the popcorn machine. All right, it says guess right, read this, guess wrong, read this. I got most of the right stuff, but let's still go with guess wrong because I guess we don't find Sable. While you were arguing about whether to leave the burning club behind without Sable, you hear coughing behind you. You turn to see Sable herself climbing down the ladder from the trap door in the stage, still wearing her costume from her performance. Sable immediately confronts Chef White. I could have died. You're going to pay for this. I have no idea what you're talking about, Chef White replies. There's no proof of foul play, but you should probably fire your stage crew and simply couldn't keep all your complicated instructions straight. I'm glad, so glad, you escaped, though. What an awful RD. This is if you get it right. Mayor Green turns on Chef White and looks with a look of fear and anger. Sable could have suffocated to death. She's a very important resident in the county. What were you thinking? I didn't know there was going to be a fire. How could I have known the stage crew screwed up the smoke so badly? All I wanted to do was scare that two-faced traitor into keeping her word. She promised to hire me as head chef as her new music venue, but changed her mind right before she signed the paperwork. Chef White takes a few steps into the tunnel. If you're so worried about her, go find her. She should be trapped in the pulley cart under the dressing room. As for me, I'm getting out of here. I hope this whole place burns down. Chef White disappears into the tunnel. Mayor White and Miss Scarlet run up the ladder to free Sable from underneath the dressing room, just in time for the fire department to arrive for them to tell the authorities exactly what Chef White did. No tricks, just the truth. When Sable asked White to meet her before the show, White assumed it was to sign paperwork that would seal the deal and make her the head chef of this ultra-exclusive music venue Sable had been building. When she arrived and discovered Sable was backing out of the deal in favor of a higher-profile chef, White couldn't take no for an answer. After several minutes of shouting, Sable stormed out of the dressing room into the backstage area provided to the show. While was left alone just long enough to hatch a plan. She found the note about how to perform the mirror walk and quickly devised a scheme to trap Sable and blackmail her into honoring the original deal. While White locked the trap door in the dressing room, dropping her ticket in the process, she waited until the show began and slipped through a hidden passage in the speakeasy. From there, she broke into Sable's office and pushed the cubes over the trap door in the corner to ensure Sable couldn't exit there. I vaguely remember that part of the story. So that was the one part of the story I missed, is that this trapdoor here in the office was blocked. Bleh. Unfortunately, she didn't see the merchandising note flagging the incorrect smoke color. She could have known the fire was about to break out. White then quickly opened the door to the other side to get into the theater without anyone noticing. She waited next to the popcorn machine until the trapdoor and pushed it over when the theater filled with smoke, ensuring Sable pulled the cart would go right into the dressing room where she would be trapped. White had hoped to free Sable after everyone had left, but fate intervened and her plans were spoiled by the fire. So I think I did a pretty good job, except that I forgot apparently at some point these cubes were knocked over on this trap door, and I should have known that because that would have put her in the dressing room. Overall, I would say that this is okay. I think if there was a large group of people, this would be pretty good. I think if you were an adult playing with a child, I think this would be decent. I think if the mirror actually worked, and I could actually see the symbols because it got hot, this would be a lot better. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I think the lack of there being more fail-safes, because basically the way it works is just like, hey, if you turn it over a card and it doesn't say solved, you're wrong. But you end up just then looking at another piece of the puzzle, which is a bit of a bummer. I do kind of dig the fact that I didn't have to destroy anything like I do with the escape games. Because now I can give this to somebody and be like, hey, this is, you can play this. I just need to put the cards back in the right order and things like that. Like, the fact that this is a reusable game is kind of nice, but it's only reusable in the idea that you can give it to another person. It's not like you yourself can play it again. I mean, I guess it's like a video game in that, like, with enough time, it is not a one-use. It like, I can give this to someone else and they can enjoy it. It did come with, like, all these really nice bands so that I can put, like, deck 3 back together properly. I'll probably give this to, like, my sister or something like that. But overall, I thought this was kind of weak. Like, I understand that they're trying to make this more like a board game. I think it's interesting that in the end it does come down to the clue who did what and where. But not a very satisfying solve. The fact that you are faced with a bunch of puzzles and you know the answer is going to be 3 digits, and you kind of work through the numbers in order so that when you're solving something that, like, is early in the game and it has like 123 on the back, the answer is going to be 140 something. Like, it's never like you jump to the 900s. And then, like, towards the end of the game, like, I still read the clues and looked up the answer. But, like, at that point, if the mirror's not working, you just flip those 2 cards over and that's the end of it. Unlike a lot of these puzzle games, it's very straightforward in the way things work. Like, it never asks you to, like, use the box in an interesting way, or, like, oh, there's a code. Look, behind the bars. Oh, it's the bar code. Like, none of that stuff happens. This was ranked a 4 out of 5 difficulty, which I think is... like, I think the final mystery had some really good... Like, I definitely could have gotten the solution correctly. But, like, I played this over weeks rather than with friends over a couple hours. This claims to be 90 minutes. This took, I think, 2.5 hours to do. But that's going to do it for Clue Escape the Illusionist Club. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. Do I have that up? No. Moving forward, we are going to continue with the Blueprint streams, along with doing Kinoplex. If you like these IRL puzzles, I have another one sitting next to me. I have House of Riddles from Escape, so I could do this one next. This claims to be much easier. This claims to be a 2 out of 5. I want to get a nicer camera before we move on to our next IRL stream. But I have one ready to go. Next time, it's time to solve in real life. But until then, more Blueprints, more Kinoplex, and if you have any suggestions of what I should be solving next, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitch and subscribe right here to Plus2 Comedy Game and catch up on all my past live streams. And I will see you all next time. Boop!